Do you ever find yourself getting in this cycle of negative thoughts? I mean, it can start off as something real simple, but before you know it, you pile on all these other thoughts, and then you find yourself in this downward spiral where you're in this depressed state, this sad state, angry, bitter, resentful, where you just feel your body and your mind just being drained of any type of positive energy that you might have had before. So in this video, I want to talk about how to stop these negative thoughts and how we get caught in these negative thought cycles. So the first thing you have to do is we have to start becoming aware when we're having, these negative thoughts, and start being aware when we're in these cycles as well. And then you have to start asking yourself, what are these negative thoughts tied to? See, a lot of times your negative thoughts will be tied to some type of limiting belief system that you have, some type of emotional pain that you might have had in the past. All right, guys. So on this channel, I like to talk about energy, vibration, frequency, and things like that. See, one thing we got to realize is that we create our life through our self-image, the image that we have of ourselves, as well as the emotional states that we predominantly place ourselves in. All right, guys, so just look at it like this. There's an emotional scale, right? I don't know if you can see my hand. So there's this emotional scale, right? And on the bottom of this scale, you have fear, depression, pessimism, doubt, anger. And then once you start making your way onto the positive end of the scale, you got hopefulness, you have optimism, you have joy, and you have love. There are some other emotional states that are in between, but just to give you a basic idea of this emotional scale, right? So where you place your self-image on this emotional scale will dictate a lot of the results that you get in life. That's why it's important for you to be aware of your negative thoughts and your negative cycles, and to also be aware of what these negative thoughts are tied to. Because like I said, a lot of times they'll be tied to some type of emotional situation that you've had in the past. Say, for example, you had a relationship that went bad. So you might start looking at relationships from a negative perspective. So a lot of your relationships, if you look at a lot of your relationships from a negative perspective, you will start creating your future relationships from a negative perspective, because you have this emotional tie of negativity tied to relationships. Okay, so another example is people that are depressed. Depression is one of the lower emotional states that you can be on, because you place yourself in a emotion where you aren't taking any action. Compared to anger, anger is a little higher on the emotional scale, because a lot of times when you're angry, you take action. You do something to resolve that anger. And anger doesn't last as long as depression, because you're taking some type of action towards that anger. And there's not a lot of emotion tied to anger where you're keeping yourself in that emotion for too long. That's just like when you have a loved one that passes away, and depending on how close you are to that loved one, you might be in a sad state, which is a lower state than anger. You might find yourself in a sad, depressed, emotional state for anywhere from weeks to months to years. You might find yourself in this lower negative emotional state. Whereas anger, compared to anger, you can be angry for 5 minutes. You can be angry for a day. But anger doesn't last as long as sadness and depression, because there's not that much emotion tied to anger as there is to depression. So the first key is to start just being aware of these triggers that you have to your negative emotions, and being aware of when you are taking yourself through these cycles. You have to, the key to everything is awareness. All right, guys. So, and then another thing is to ask yourself, are these thoughts benefiting me towards my goals? Because on this channel, I like to help you guys develop the mindset to achieve your goals, your desires, and to just live a better life for yourselves. And the last thing is to be aware of what you're thinking throughout the day. Just start taking a mental note of the thoughts that you're having. Are they helpful? Are they negative? Are you in a negative cycle? Are these negative thoughts piling on top of each other? Are you going down this rabbit hole of negativity? Just start being aware. Start being aware of your thoughts. Start being aware of your mindset that you're in on a day-to-day basis. So just to go back to this emotional scale thing, because I wanna kind of elaborate on the positive end of this emotional scale, where you have the top emotion of love. And you notice how when you first start a relationship, you're in love. I mean, if you find somebody that you're compatible with, you have a connection with, you guys got good chemistry, you find yourself on this high emotion of love. You're feeling good every day. You're feeling optimistic about the future. You're making future plans with this person. You're making dates every weekend. You're going out. You have these public displays of affection. You're holding hands and kissing in public and things like that. And you're just having a good time with this person. And then all of a sudden, the arguments come, the disagreements come, you guys start falling out. And then you start having these negative thoughts about your partner. Is my partner happy? Is my partner cheating on me? How long is this gonna last? Things like that. So you're slowly but surely making your way down the emotional scale. And that's because you're getting in this slow cycle of negative thoughts. So you're making your way down. And like I said, the key is to start being aware of your negative thoughts, aware of your negative cycles. All right. So a lot of dating coaches and relationship coaches will tell you when your relationship is getting bad, start doing the things that you were doing in the beginning, because in the beginning, you were in a higher emotional state, this higher positive emotional state, and you were getting positive results. So that's what you want to do with your goals in your life, and your mindset is to get as much positive results as you can. So we have to start being aware when we're in these negative cycles. And just by you becoming aware, you start to put up this block. You start to put up this block of not getting in that cycle. Yes, you'll continue to have negative thoughts. Negative thoughts, they come and they go, but that's what you want the negative thoughts to do, to just come and go. You don't want to get caught in this cycle of negative thoughts, because once you get caught in the cycle, you start taking action, and then you start reacting in a negative way. And then you start getting negative results. So that's it. Just start being aware. Start being aware of your negative thoughts. Start being aware of when you're in these negative cycles. And start catching yourself before you get in these cycles. Start being aware of what triggers you to even have these negative thoughts. And then slowly but surely, you can start eliminating these negative patterns that you might have in your life. All right, guys, feel free to comment down below. Let me know what you think. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please do me a favor. Go hit that red button and subscribe. Also hit the notification bell as well. All right, see you in the next video. Peace.